Good evening, everybody. Day 26 of Enhancing My Language Brain blog. And honestly, today, it's not about my brain, it's about Tim's brain. And Tim really explained something fascinating to me earlier, and I think I'd like to share, or I'd like him to share that with you. So, Tim.
Hi, thank you, Rich. I'm really delighted to be able to talk about this. I had a Transient Global Amnesia. You probably haven't heard of it. I'd never heard of it.
No.
TGA.
Yeah.
What it means is that for a transient period of some hours, the blood supply or the electrical supply to my hippocampus, the hippocampus part of my brain, was interrupted.
Goodness.
So the effect of that is that the brain stops making memories.
In a period of time?
Over a temporary period of time, in this case a few hours. So I was taking my supper out of the oven about 9 o'clock. I was all by myself in the house. My friends were coming back from Italy that same evening, much later. And I was just taking the thing out, putting the thing down on the plate down on the table, and then suddenly I felt very strange in the head. It wasn't a blinding headache or anything, it was just a weird feeling, and I think it affected my vision, and I thought I was having a stroke.
Wow.
Because I had all the symptoms, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought, right, I better do something about this, and I walked upstairs, up the steps to the telephone. Fortunately, the telephone was in its cradle, which is often isn't. And I dialed 999. And the ambulance came very promptly. I was waiting outside. They took me back upstairs to find my things, a few things, which I was able to gather. Back down again to the ambulance. And after that, and I wrote a note to my friends, gone to the hospital.
Yeah. But you were still feeling strange?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, still feeling, I could walk and I could be guided, because, I'm still conscious, but I'm just not.
The conscious part of the brain was functioning.
Yes, this was the early stages of the TGA.
Right.
It wasn't until I'm getting into the ambulance, and I think I don't even remember lying down in the ambulance. And then I think I'd lost memory.
Everything.
I don't think I lost consciousness. I just think I lost the use of my hippocampus.
Okay, so you didn't lose consciousness?
No, well, as far as I know, I didn't lose consciousness, but because I'm not making memories, I have no way of knowing that. But, I wasn't given any medication. I was simply, put on the trolley in the ambulance, taken to the hospital. I don't remember coming out of the ambulance in the hospital. I think I was waiting around a long time. I've got very, very cloudy memories of something, of waiting. And then my brain was scanned in a...
MRI?
No, it was the other one, the CAT scan, yeah.
Right.
And they found nothing.
And can you remember that?
No, but I can remember, what I can remember next is waking up in the early hours of the morning, about between 3 and 4, and straight away the nurse came to me and said, look, you haven't had a stroke, you've had a transient global amnesia. They wrote it out. It was on a piece of paper for me to look at, and I kept looking at it and making sure I understood it.
Yes.
So I had all my cognitive functions. I remembered what had happened. I remembered everything. My memory wasn't impaired, but only for those few hours, it's a total blackout. And I will never get that memory back because I didn't make any memories. The hippocampus hadn't registered anything.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It's amazing. And another strange thing is that when I woke up, and there's all this activity around, hospitals, intensive care units are very busy places.
Yeah.
There are all these people around working, flat out, the nurses, people coming and going. But I'm in this kind of serene state. It's like my brain has there are incredibly powerful chemicals in the brain which control mood and consciousness and awakeness and so on. I just felt totally serene, blissed out in a way.
Gosh.
And I felt taken care of. the National Health Service, the universe, whatever you like, the angels, had brought me here, and I was safe. I knew I was perfectly safe. I was wired up to the monitors, and I had a shunt in my vein, and things were going beep, beep, beep. And I was still in my jeans, but they put me on a hospital top. It was very hot. It was a very hot time, so I wasn't all that comfortable. And they came along and said, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And the usual things. And then later on, a doctor came, a young houseman came in and told me a bit more about transient global amnesia. That it's not likely to happen again. It happens to people in their middle age, between 40 and 65, and it's as likely to happen to anybody as me. It's happened once. It's very unlikely to happen again. It's a rare event, and it's cause pretty much unknown. But there's some kind of interruption either to the blood supply or the electrical supply.
Yeah, the brain is also this electrical machine that
Sure.
and it's interesting that you're saying that even science doesn't know really what it is.
No, they don't. There's various theories that it might be linked to epilepsy. I'm not epileptic.
Yeah.
I have had a blow on that part of the brain. A long time ago I fell and hit my head. It might be related to that, I'm thinking, but nobody knows.
And now?
And now, right, well now the really fascinating thing about this is that blissful feeling hasn't altogether gone away. And I feel I've had a near-death experience. I mean, it wasn't really a near-death, but it felt like a life-changing event. And I've been relieved of a lot of anxiety and neurosis, and I think in a way, it's done me a lot of good.
Right.
It's made me less fearful,
Yes.
less neurotic and anxious,
Yep.
and nothing bad came of it.
You were saying to me earlier, in the words that you used earlier were a reset.
Yes, it was like nature had pressed a reset button in my brain, and that I feel much more energetic,
Yeah.
and a lot of things. I've turned 65, and
Goodness,
yeah,
Tim.
I know it's been
I think you don't look your age at all.
Thank you. Everybody says
Wow.
that. Thank you very much, Rachel. Yeah, I know, but there's various reasons for that. So this coming along on top of a lot of things have changed. It's been a very significant occurrence. So to finish the story, various people came. I had to telephone people, important people in my life. My friends who had come back, they were very concerned. They visited me, and were delighted to see that I was okay. And another my oldest friend came, and some other friends came with some things, my computer and so on. And then they moved me to a general ward, recovery ward. And there were people in terrible state. Obviously, I was thinking, I've got to get out of here. I'm using up a valuable bed. And in the afternoon, the staff came and said, "Look, you can stay another night if you want. If you don't feel ready to go home, but you're free to go."
So this
I
was
left.
the day after?
That was the day after. So this happened about 9 o'clock. And I left the hospital. I think it was around about 2 or 3 o'clock the following afternoon. Went home and sat down to tea, and told the story.
Goodness, Tim. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure that, for many people out there, it's going to be interesting as well to hear that.
Well, if anybody has a similar tale to tell, I'd be delighted.
Yes.
I'm sure you would be delighted to hear it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, people can connect with me on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and I can connect you with Tim. Definitely, if you're interested to hear more about that, then do connect with us. Bye-bye. Thank you everybody for your patience. This evening was a long vlog, and I thought it was really interesting to share that experience with you, with Tim, because we're still learning about the brain, and that's another example of how even the neuroscientists and the doctors are trying to understand what exactly happens to the brain in certain events like this TGA. So thank you. And tomorrow I'm back to Europe, flying back in the morning, and happy to get back to the continent. And we'll be reporting back on my brain. We've got 5 more days. This is my 30-day challenge, 5 more days left. And on Thursday the 23rd, we will be kicking off that Amazon.com campaign that we were not successful with last week. It's Amazon.com, so it's a worldwide campaign, and the price will be coming down to 99 cents. And for 3 days. After that it will be $1.99 for 4 days, and then back to the original price. So super evening wherever you are, and really thinking about how awesome and amazing your brains are. See you tomorrow.